Byron in Canada. This is your Hornet H1x2. But you might like to see the inside of it. You have one HG2290 driving two HG2879s. Okay, you notice all the resistors inside the cabinet are 5 watt, except for the LED resistor. You don't need a 5 watt on that. Okay, now I add the 5 watts because this little guy here is a 3 watt. So you need something to take some of the load off of him. So this guy's a 5, he's a 5. The RF going from this transformer into this one, I also put a 5 watt. Your feedback resistors are 5 watt. So every resistor in here aside from the LED resistor is 5 watts. Okay, all the wiring inside here is Teflon. Fireproof, or flame proof, or whatever you want to call it. Flame resistance would be the better word. It takes a hell of a lot to burn this Teflon stuff, I'll tell you. Okay, you notice also there's a little fuse right here on the remote connector, and what this fuse does is protect your voltage, your vehicle, power supply, whatever you're using it for, because if the remote cable shorts out, the way it was before is this guy's directly connected to power, and anytime your amplifier is connected to power, this connection here is hot. Okay, you got voltage on this. You also have voltage on each collector of all 3 transistors. Remember that. Make sure you never run this thing without a fuse. Okay. Now, I had a fuse, a 50 amp fuse in there, and the amplifier at wide open power is pulling 60 amps. So I'm going to send you some bigger fuses along with it. So make sure you change that out. Well, you'll change it out first time you go to use it, that fuse in there, because it's going to blow it. That's a 50 amp that's in there now. All right, now you had asked about sideband, adding sideband. Wanted to know if it was too late to add sideband. Well, at that point it was. The boards had already been laid out. Okay, normally the sideband circuit goes right in here, but everything had already been laid out and construction was almost complete. So yeah, it was too late. But what I did do, I added SSB delay. Now, the amplifier is biased Class C. So all that switch does there on the front is add SSB delay. Okay? In other words, when you're talking on sideband, if you don't have something like this on there, the relay will chatter. What this switch does is add a delay in between your words to keep the relay from unkeying. Now, it's better if you operate on sideband if the amplifier is biased for sideband, like bias class AB. But I can tell you that for decades, people use these transistorized amplifiers that were Class C biased on sideband without any problem. Most of them used a direct key, which is a fitting that goes to your radio. You have to have a relay inside the radio that would ground the center conductor to the chassis. Okay, and that would key the relay. So when you keyed the microphone, the amp would key. When you unkeyed the microphone, the amp would unkey. But what I decided to do on yours is just add a delay, because to do the direct key you got to have a relay inside your radio, and I'm pretty sure you don't have anybody close by that could do that for you. Alright, so I did not install the direct key connector. So all this does is add delay when you're talking on sideband. Let's see. Now I didn't have a 451 handy, but I got a little 465, and we're on sideband now. So I'm going to turn the amplifier on. Hello, hello, audio, audio, hello, 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 audio, audio, audio. Okay, hear that relay? Audio, audio, hello, hello, audio. It's a little bit of a delayed reaction. See, here's the mic. Hello. Hello. Okay. Gives you a delay in between your words so that the amp don't unkey in between when you take pauses in between your words, because there's no carrier. Okay. That allows you to operate the amplifier on sideband, and it will work just fine on sideband. You know, the quality of the signal is not as high as it would be if it was classed bias class AB or class A, but it'll work just fine. Okay. Amp manufacturers like Hooker, Magnum, even Palomar, on the first ones that they ever came out with, the transistorized amplifiers, a lot of them just had SSB delay. They didn't have SSB bias. But now it's not biased SSB for SSB. It's biased class C, which is, you know, straight up carrier input. But it'll work just fine on sideband, trust me. Okay. I told you about all the 5-watt resistors, all the Teflon wire, the fuse. See, your amplifier, once you connect these power cables, okay, to either a power supply or to a battery, let's say a battery, car battery, okay, then these transistors have voltage on them all the time, okay, because this guy has voltage on it all the time. This one has voltage on it all the time because this guy, this wire right here is hot. Doesn't matter if the amplifier is on or not. The only thing this on-off switch does on the front of the amplifier is allow the relay to work. Okay? You turn this power switch off and it kills power to that side of the relay, which means that relay won't key. But the rest of the circuit inside the amplifier is hot. Remember that. Never run this damn thing without a fuse and the power wire. And you want the fuse as close to the battery or power supply as physically possible. Okay? Now, I've added a fuse to the remote connector. What this guy does is if your remote wire or your remote switch shorts out, it doesn't burn down your vehicle. And I have heard of that happening, believe it or not. The wire running alongside the floorboard was not Teflon, whatever. It melted, caught the carpet on fire, and the vehicle burned to the ground because of it. So never run this thing without a fuse. That goes for everyone. Never run your amplifier without a fuse, and put the fuse as close to the power supply or battery as physically possible. Okay? Make sure your fuse is the right amperage too. You don't want to put a 300 amp fuse in a circuit that's only going to draw 100 amps maximum. Now the 300 amp would probably blow if it was a direct short, but it might take it a while. Alright, well, that's it, Byron. Let's see. Okay, turn the power all the way up, turn the amplifier on, put the radio on AM. I have a, where's that? That's a 500 watt slug in RMS, or average power, and a 500 watt slug in peak. Now in peak, I have the meter set for, what is that, ×2. Audio, hello, hello, audio, audio, 1 2 1 2 audio. So that's what, about it's backing up, audio. So maybe 350. Audio, hello, audio, 1, 2. Yeah, about 350 watts. So, because it's backing up, you might want to turn down the input power with the very power that's on the front. Okay. Now let's see what it's doing here. Audio, hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Let me figure that out there. That's going to be, I'm on ×5, not ×2. Sorry about that. And that's 500. So we're going to be reading on that top scale. That's a little over 500 watts peak envelope power. Almost 600 watts. PEP. Okay. You got a 2290 driving two 2879s, all HGs, which are really good transistors. Okay. And that was on AM. Let's see what it does on sideband. Hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Oh, I didn't turn on the sideband switch. You hear that relay clicking? Audio, hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio. Drop that back down to 2. Well, that's about 600 watts. 550, 600 watts peak envelope power. Okay. All right. So yeah, your TRC 451 should work perfectly with this. Well, let me show you. Audio, hello, audio, 1, 2, 1, 2, audio, 1, 2. So, yeah. That time we were hitting about 600 watts. Okay, that was on the lower side of 38. All right, I'm going to put the cover on it and get her boxed up and on its way to you. And like I said, there's your fuse and your wire. If you want to extend this to make it longer, minimum 8 AWG. I recommend solid copper, oxygen-free copper. If it's only going to be about another 10 or 12 foot, that would be okay. But if you're going to go longer than that, I would increase the size to a 6 or 4, preferably a 4. Okay, you'll get this, the fuses, the jumper cable, and the amplifier. Okay, Byron. Sure hope you enjoy your new amp. It was my pleasure to build it for you. Just remember, this is SSB delay. It's not SSB bias, okay? The amplifier's bias Class C, but it'll work in sideband. It ain't going to hurt anything. All right. 7-3, everybody.